All right. Let's see. I'm live. Yes, I'm live. If you're here, let me know in the live chat, please. I'll start at 4 minutes, as always. When you're here, let me know in the live chat, please. Thank you very much. Let me know in the live chat when you're here. Susan is here. I'm happy. Prosibol is here. Thank you both for being here. Mr. Durden, glad you're here. Lisa, glad you're here. Danielle, Dion. Good. Thanks for the 2 thumbs up. And by the way, if something is not clear to you, just mention it in the live chat immediately. Then I also have a note, oh, I need to elaborate on something. So if something is not clear, please let me know immediately in the live chat. Thank you. Again, I'll start at 4 minutes, so people have the chance to get in. Oh, William, glad you're here. Les, glad you're here. Alvin from studio, I'm thankful you're here too. Great. Thanks for another thumbs up. All right. I command peace, harmony, and safety on all of you and on your environment. All of you who are now watching or listening to this live stream, I want peace, safety, and harmony around you and inside of you in Christ Jesus' mighty name. Amen. All right. Anyways, I'm glad you're here. Jody, I'm glad you're here. Okay, class has begun. The title of this live stream is What Reprobates and Society Can't Fake. The reason for this live stream is to remind you and also to put your attention to the following. The world around you can only fake it. The world around you or society can only fake it because society has nothing real to offer in the long run. With real here means something of long-term benefit. Society can't offer nor provide anything of any long-term benefits to you. They cannot. The trick is, and that's what politics is all about, is to convince you that society has something on the long term to offer to you that's worthwhile, and to even go so far that religiously politics seeks to convince you that society is the only structure that can offer you this long-term benefit. Suzanne, I'm glad you're here. Praise the Lord. So I've explained in the previous live stream what politics really is. That's the resentment of the crowd delegated to officials to enact the anger on behalf of the crowd. That's what politics is. Politics is there to trick you into investing in society. And the reason you're tricked into investing because you perceive society as offering long-term safety, long-term benefits, long-term security. It's a long-term revenue that tricks you into thinking that society is providing it. And because you end up investing emotionally and also physically in society, you are confident, you're convinced that the long-term benefits will take care of themselves. And when long-term benefits don't work out, you always think, I may have to work harder, or I may have to vote on the right political party. Yes, those are the excuses you were told. And before you know it, decades pass by, 20, 30, 40 years, and you still have no long-term benefits. You only have gadgets, and all those gadgets bring negative attention to you. If it's a job that pays well, you'll often be exhausted, and you'll have to compete with people that are younger, and you have people want to take you off your place. If it's a big house, then you need to be on good terms with your neighbors or else. And you also have gangs that want to rob you. So the gadgets society offers you, they offer you those gadgets in exchange for your life. Society is always out to take your life. Whether they do it literally by killing you directly, or they do it by draining your life. Society is always out there to take your life. However, society will never be open about this. They have to fake like they're offering you life. So it's your life source as a human being that society needs to make itself existent, to make itself relevant. So the moment you don't realize that you have natural wealth, which is your health, the moment you don't realize that, because you're so consumed by this lack of self-worth, in that state of mind, you begin to perceive external factors as gods. You begin to see someone with a big house as a kind of a deity. You begin to see other people who have things smoothly as those who are further advanced than you. When you are plagued by lack of self-worth, anything external that shines is gold. When you lack self-worth, anything that glitters is gold. And when you lack self-worth, the grass is always greener at the other side. So in politics, they want to exploit this lack of self-worth inside of you. They do not want this lack of self-worth to be healed. Because the moment the lack of self-worth is healed, you will not take society nor politics seriously anymore. So this is how society does it, or better said, this is how the politicians do it. The politicians promise you heaven on earth, but there's one condition. You need to hand over your life to them. That handing over of your life, you don't notice that that's what they're asking of you. For example, you may have this politician that says, I will make crime go away. I will make jobs come back to this country. Just vote for me, and stand behind the principles of my political party. And you think, hey, if this man is dedicated to make things better for us, why would I not be dedicated to the vision of this man? So you end up voting for the political party, and with you voting for the party, you've emotionally invested in the agenda of the party. And now, to justify your decision, you will promote this party. So before you know it, that political party becomes a central theme in your life. You don't notice it, others do. So your life is being absorbed by that political party. And once your life is absorbed by that political party, now the demons have a hold on you. So you just signed away your life believing what that charlatan, or when I said politician, was saying. And you cannot sign away your life and expect a good outcome. Anytime you sign away your life, you end up with less. You always end up with less. Now, and that's why politicians often give free handouts, whether it's stimulus checks like Biden did, or whether it's some extra free days, or a national raise in payments, a wage raise. Politicians will always give you some free handouts. Those free handouts are to trick you into thinking that your investment is worth it. What you don't realize is that your life has been, you've signed your life away. So let me give an illustration. Let's say you have Jody, just an example. I'm not talking about the real Jody here in the live chat, but I'm just using Jody as an example. Let's say Jody, she's 25 and she's working at let's say at a Starbucks, and she pays rent and she has good terms with people in the community. Then one day this politician comes up and highlights a lot of the crime and a lot of the corruption in the community. Now Jody was never aware of all the crime and the corruption. Now she is, and now she's frightened because the politician keeps mentioning how dangerous it is for women to walk on the street. Now look at this. Jody never experienced danger walking down the streets, not even at night. Yet mainstream media keeps reporting about women being grabbed and raped on the street, even during daylight. So now Jody is put under a spell. Now she feels unsafe walking down the street. Now Jody has become fearful. And because Jody has become fearful, unaware to herself, her energy field is wounded. And because her energy field is wounded, now indeed, whenever sex predators walk by, they experience an energetic click with her. And because this energetic click, the sex offenders are more likely to see her as a attractive prey. Before this, Jody was not fearful at all. She was just feminine. By her being feminine, sex offenders, they were horrified by her. Because sex offenders, they want defective women that they can punish. So this politician that, by the way, Jody, are you male or female? I just want, there are women called Jody, that's why I use a female example. But it can be the real Jody in live chat is male, I don't know. Let us know, what are you, Jody, male or female, so that I know how to address you in the future. But for the example, sake to Jody, an example is female. But anyway, so in this example, the politician put a spell of fear on the women in the community. And the women are now experiencing more sexual harassment than ever before. But the public's not aware of it. The public sees the increase of sexual harassment as confirmation that the politicians tell the truth. And then let's say Jody says, you know what, I'm going to vote on that man, okay, because that man has my safety at on his heart. He's like my daddy. He loves me. So she votes for him, and she feels safe voting for him. Then she begins to defend her choice, and before you know it, she breaks with all her friends, and now she only hangs around with people that agree with that politician. She ends up dating a guy that's also agreeing with the politician, even marrying a guy that agrees with the politician. So her whole life is now centering around that politician. Even though she doesn't think about the politician on a daily basis, she doesn't even mention his name, her life is now revolving around that politician. And then after 4 years, or sometimes 5 or 6 years, the politician leaves office, and what do you know? Nothing happened. Things only got worse. You have an increase in sex crimes against women. You know why? Because since a politician began to put that spell through the mainstream media, a lot of women became fearful, and the fearful attitude of the women makes them easier prey for sex predators. Before that politician came to the scene, the amount of sex offenses against women were quite low. Since he came, it has increased and kept increasing. So things are worse off after this politician took office. But the people that voted for him are now so centered around him that they don't even realize how brainwashed they are. So, a long story short, the politician leaves office, things are worse off, and it's now that Joe realized that she's been set up. But hey, now she's married with a guy that is obsessed with that politician, and now she lost all her former friends. So now she's thinking, how did I end up here? That is what society and politics does to you. Society and politics, just like Les Brown said in the live chat, he said in live chat, society and politics sell you a dream with money you don't have to impress people you don't know. Absolutely. So remember the following. If you remember the following, you are kind of immune to being deceived by society. You can still be tricked by them using false data, but society cannot successfully deceive you if you remember the following. Reprobates cannot fake stability. They can't. That's the only thing they cannot fake. They can fake anything else. They can even fake being believers. They can fake having a relationship with their Heavenly Father. They can fake having love. They can fake having sympathy. They can fake having empathy. They can fake being good people. But there's one thing reprobates cannot fake, and that is stability. Why? Because reprobates are nothing but, they're everything but stable. They're not stable at all. Reprobates are completely unstable. And because they're completely unstable, they are similar to, I would say, they are similar to parasites that need to feed off of other people emotionally because they're not stable on the inside. Now, society is a reprobate construct, or as I mentioned before, a narcissistic construct. So society functions the same way as individual reprobates do. They have to fake it, but it can never fake stability. Someone who's always fleeing, someone who's always escaping, and who's never present in their own lives can never be stable. Such an individual will go from marriage to marriage, job to job, friendship to friendship, will go from house to house, country to country, and it will always be complaining. Someone like that is filled with pollution. Emotional pollution in the energy field, also physical pollution in the brains, because all that anxiety will cause brain damage to them eventually. So people that are always fleeing, they are a walking time bomb. That's what they are. So to prevent all that pollution from breaking them down mentally and physically, they need an outlet for that pollution. Now, when someone persists in fleeing, they end up becoming wicked. And after wickedness, they, quote unquote, regress into reprobation. Most of the time, it's too late for them at that point, even though there are reprobates that became born again and saved. But once one reaches a reprobate state, often it's over. But anyway, reprobates cannot fake stability. That's why reprobates are often in, let me say, that's why reprobates often play the victim. Reprobates often lie on you that you were victimizing them. They will lie on you having bad intentions towards them because they have to create a scenario in which they appear like the victim. Why? Why do they have to fake scenarios where they appear like the victim? Because as a victim, you're not responsible for what's being done to you. As a victim, you have a legitimate reason for being dysfunctional. Someone who has been stabbed recently cannot walk properly because the organs need to heal. So them walking funny is not an excuse. There's a legitimate reason. Or someone who just survived a car crash may be a bit socially withdrawn for the first few months after the car crash. So them avoiding social contact is not being antisocial, just necessary for their mental health. Now, an actual victim needs time to recover. So an actual victim will be dysfunctional on the short term. Absolutely. And nobody can blame them. But here's the thing. The reprobate has no interest in being socially functional. The reprobate doesn't want reciprocity. The reprobate doesn't want justice nor safety. The reprobate just wants to escape and be at ease. This is what the reprobate wants. So the reprobate is defect. They're not just dysfunctional, they are defect. And they don't want to admit the defect. Once they admit this, then they also will admit that they're not reliable. And then they need to submit to therapy and submit to the Heavenly Father to be better. But because the reprobate feels so entitled to escape, they now have to hide how unstable they really are. That's why you may be involved with people, and out of the blue, you hear they're complaining about you behind the scenes, saying that you're bothering them, you're stalking them. And then you think, huh? I barely talk to this individual, especially on social media. But you hear someone, maybe it can be a relative or maybe a coworker, is complaining behind the scenes that you're stalking them and all of that. And even the people who inform you tell you, this man is out of his mind, calling you a stalker. You're barely here at work. Or some people say, this woman is out of her mind, claiming that this guy is harassing her, while the guy barely is on social media. So everyone can see this individual is gone. But they are seriously convinced that others are convinced of their victim play. The reprobate has to play the victim if they want to keep this facade to exploit other people. The reprobate has to play the victim to hide their instability. Because once instability is visible, it's over. They lose reputation, they lose the investment of other people, and people begin to avoid them, rightfully so. Now, it's not that the reprobate has no choice. The reprobate can easily look in the mirror and admit that they are defect and submit themselves to therapy and eventually to the Heavenly Father to be better. Even though I prefer them to go to the Heavenly Father first before they go to therapy, but you get what I'm saying. However, that's why they're reprobate, because they are debased mentally. They do not even want to face there's an issue. They will always externalize the issue and put the blame on someone else. Now, in a situation where multiple people are at fault, all people need to admit their portion. That's true. But the reprobate will never admit their portion. They will highlight the portion of someone else. If there's a conflict and multiple people are at fault, the reprobate will highlight the blame of all those other people involved. But the reprobate will not even mention their own contribution to the conflict. That's how they are. And why am I talking about this? It's because society is a reprobate construct. Society is a construct to keep reprobates at ease. Why? Because worldlings don't want to put up with reprobates because reprobates are dangerous. And from the reprobates, the female reprobates have no off switch because females are emotionally wired to begin with. So when a female turns to a reprobate, there's no stopping to it. She has no off switch. So the world is especially afraid of female reprobates. That's why the world has this enormous patience and enormous tolerance towards bad female behavior or bad behavior by females. Why? Because when a female reprobate doesn't get the affection she craves, she will explode in the community. She will do crazy things in public. even harming people and children just to get her narcissistic supply. So that's why the world has this thing called society, which is a reprobate construct. Just make sure the reprobates are at ease, and the rest of the worldlings just get along with the victimization. Society is about victimizing a portion of your own community to keep the reprobates at ease and for you guys to have ease too. That's what society is. So this being said about society, there's nothing but a narcissistic construct that needs victims to survive. How can society ever offer something good to you? It cannot. All the beneficial gadgets society offers you are stolen from other people. Look, it's simple. As a believer, you should see through this facade of stability. Because society has no stability. It doesn't. Society cannot even have any stability because society is not a real thing. It's something the crowd enacts. And this enactment depends on the people enacting it, and the people enacting it are not stable themselves. So, anytime you keep hearing reports in mainstream media about crime in the community, now you know what they're doing. Now you know what they're doing. They are giving reports of tragedies just to enforce tragedy spirits on you. Let me repeat that. When mainstream media reports regularly on tragedies in the community, they're not doing that because they actually care about the people afflicted by the tragedy. They do that to put tragedy spells on you just so that tragedy demons can feed off of you more easily. That's what they're doing. Mainstream media capitalizes on tragedy. They do. They will milk out. They will exploit a tragedy to the full extent. Sometimes mainstream media goes a bit too far, and the publicans realize, this is off. Remember the Gabby Petito case about that blonde woman that went missing, and later she was found dead, and they were suspecting her fiance to have killed her. At some point, even people on YouTube began to realize, hold on a minute, why are they so into this Gabby Petito case? What's going on? And there are many more women that went missing and nobody cares about them. So suddenly they find the body of Brian Laundrie and now it's completely quiet. Nobody even talks about the Gabby Petito case anymore. What happened? They were using that tragedy of that young woman as a spell to enforce tragedy on the masses. That's what they were doing. By enforcing tragedy on the masses, they keep the masses traumatized. By keeping the masses traumatized, demons can feed off of them. Because if demons can't feed off the masses, then the corporate world cannot function because the corporate world relies on charms. And the charms come from the demon excrement that fallen angels emit after feeding themselves off of human waste. So the corporate world, as well as politics, relies on demonic charm, or relies on charms. And only way they can get charms is when demons can produce this demon excrement on top of their energy fields, or on top of the building of their businesses. So they rely on this demon excrement, and this demon excrement can only come when demons can feed off anxiety from the public. So they're feeding the demons at expense of the human population, just so they can have ease at the expense of the population. That's what they're doing. So that is why there are so many missing persons cases that never get attention. In the United States alone, there have been thousands of Native American women that went missing. No media coverage whatsoever. Gabby Petito goes missing all over. mainstream media, even in other countries. And don't forget that the day the day they claim she so-called disappeared was also the day, the birthday of the Jesuit order. The Jesuits are what they call the Illuminati. Weird. I didn't know that school children back then, who were still children back then, saw the assassination of John F. Kennedy. But now you know why they did it that way. It's to cause trauma. And remember, John F. Kennedy was also the Irish descent president of the United States that sided with the black community in the civil rights movement. It was John F. Kennedy that decided, you know what? I'm Irish, and the Irish people have been abused by the British for centuries, and those black folks also have been abused for centuries. You know what? I can empathize with them and sympathize with them. It has to be over right now. And it was John F. Kennedy that sided with the civil rights movement and began to enforce improvements for the black community and other minorities in the United States. And then he was assassinated later on. Well, why did they do that? That was to give a message to the public. If you resist white supremacy, even as a white man, this is what we do to you. The trauma was to make John F. Kennedy an example. Don't mess with the white supremacist agenda or else. That's why they allowed it to happen so openly for the people to see it. Because they could have just shoot him behind the scenes where there was no camera, where there was no public. They wanted it to happen in public so that the effect will be to the maximum. That's just like Jody said in the live chat right over here. That's why the two things Jesus warned us over and over, do not fear and do not be deceived. Now, don't fear is also repeated in the Old Testament over and over again. The number one commandment from the Heavenly Father is fear not. And then Christ in the New Testament also added to it, do not be deceived. Once you are afraid, you are already deceived. When you are afraid, you are deceived already because your mind is off the greatness of the Heavenly Father, thinking that the danger around you has more potential than God himself. Not knowing that everything in heaven and earth is held together by God's might. So the moment you're tricked into a fear state, deception flows easily. If they can't get you to be afraid, they'll try to get you distracted by something. And this cult we live in, because the world is a Greek cult, as I mentioned already. This Greek cult that worships Apollo and other Greek gods, this cult we operate in will even kill one of their own servants, like they did John F. Kennedy, just to keep the cult from collapsing. What John F. Kennedy did should have crashed this whole Apollonian system. That's why they had to get rid of him, and they had to impute the fear back into the masses. However, they have to follow the concessions of John F. Kennedy to the black community and to the other minorities in the United States. Not that they wanted to, but they had to. And at the same time, there was decolonization going on in Africa also. So the system, or this Apollonian system, is not all-powerful, and it's not unfailable. It fails in the long run anyway because it's satanic. It is effective, but it's also quite fragile. So stability is non-existent in the world. But how come you never notice this? It's because if you grow up in an environment where there's a lot of ease, you'll think that ease is a norm. That ease is not the norm. That ease is a result of the adults having scapegoats to escalate on, And because they're exhausted by escaping someone else, they're more at ease with you. A lot of people that had an easy childhood, that's why you had an easy childhood. Because the adults around you had an outlet for their anxiety. Or the people around you were believers that walk by faith. It's not that ease in daily life is a norm in the world. It is not. And that's why we as believers should always we should always have this abundance mindset. Look, Christ said the kingdom of God is within you. And in the Old Testament, is written in the book of Proverbs, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Look, I already explained this in another live stream, how your energy field is a reflection of your mind. Okay? And especially with men. This also comes from females, but especially with men. Men are magnetic by default. Females are not magnetic, men are. So as a man, when anything that's in your mind will be attracted towards you in external world. Why? Because you're magnetic. With a female can trigger a magnetic attraction in her favor, but a female's not magnetic herself. But this comes both males and females. The content of your mind will reflect on the outside sooner or later. So if you're anxious or fearful or doubtful on the inside, and there is a sex predator nearby, there's a click that happens automatically because you're both in a negative. And this makes it more easier for that predator to prey on you as a female. As a man, if you are afraid of being taken advantage of, you being afraid to be taken advantage of alone clicks you to predators that want to take advantage of you. It's all about the energetic click. That's why you can have a sex predator that never assaults any of the females nearby him, but at work one day after leaving work, he encounters this woman walking home from the railway station. He follows her. Mind you, he's been going to the railway station for years to go to work, and there were females leaving the railway station all the time. But this day, when he was in the train, he felt this click with this woman on the train, and he began to follow her, and he raped her. Why this click? Because that other woman was in negativity. She was invested in negativity herself, and he was in negativity. That was the click that happened. And because of the click, that click boosted his body to make the move. There were other women around also who were more scarcely dressed, but they even pay attention to them. So it's the energetic click. The same with you guys out there. If you end up in a situation where people take advantage of you, people mistreat you, and it happens over and over again, the reason those people came after you and not anyone else is because they experienced a click with you. Now, is it your fault for what they've done to you? No, absolutely not. But there's something inside of you that has to be processed out of you, namely the trauma. And it's once the trauma is processed out of your energy fields that there will be no click anymore. So get it straight. If you're victimized once, it's likely to happen over and over again, unless the trauma is processed. And this is something I don't often hear on YouTube. This is something you don't often hear on TV. Of course, you won't hear it on TV. But anyway, even in church, they don't tell you this. If you're traumatized, it doesn't have to be a big trauma like rape or a car accident or you witness a homicide or whatever. It can also be a small trauma. For example, you fight from a job out of the blue, or people just ghosted you, or whatever. Any trauma you don't process properly becomes an energy tumor in your energy field that will attract future victimization. So you are going to end up in more and more messed up situations if you don't process the trauma properly. That's why society always offers you escapes. Like you go to the club, or you go drink a lot, or you go smoking, or you do drugs, or You join the police force to fight the bad guys, or you're obsessed with going to church. Society offers you coping mechanisms so you never heal the actual trauma in your energy field. Because it's this trauma in your energy field that keeps you connected to the darkness. The longer you are connected to the darkness, the more likely it is that the darkness can hurt you and harm you. So there shouldn't be any click happening between you and risky people. So all these videos on YouTube about setting boundaries, going no contact, or learning self-respect and all of that, all those things are coping mechanisms. Here's the thing. Let's say you have narcissists around you. Let's say you have dangerous people around you, but they never experience this click with you. They won't even consider you. They'll just ignore you. But if you're traumatized or you have some type of anxiety in your mind, bang, there's a click. And now you need to watch out. But if there is no click, you won't even be considered by those people. Now, pagans have charms that hinder a click, but pagans themselves are still in darkness. Believers should be renewed completely in their mind so that no click happens. But you may ask, Rashid, but why do we still have reprobates coming after us? Look, those reprobates can't harm you. They can only hinder you once you are delivered. So that's why they're after you, not because there's a click, but because they want to hinder you. But also that will backfire if you keep moving forward. So believers that cross the Jordan, believers that graduate into sainthood, they don't need to enforce boundaries and all that crap, all the scope mechanisms, because there is no click. And we just move further and shake off danger out of us. That's what we do. But worldlings who have no safety and no security, they need some coping mechanism. So most of the videos you will find online about how to deal with narcissists, even by professionals, those are just coping mechanisms. And every coping mechanism will backfire on you anyway. Look, it doesn't matter if you were married to a narcissist and you leave him. It doesn't matter if you move to another country. If that trauma is not processed out of your energy field, some other narcissist will jump right in. Let's say you live in the state of California in the United States. And let's say the state of California has around 10 million reprobates. I don't know how many reprobates there are in the state of California, but I dare to assume there are many, many, many of them, due to the condition of the state of California. Let's say you live in the state of California and you divorce your narcissist husband. There's still 10 million reprobates out there. And from the 10 million reprobates, half of them are men. So you still have 5 million reprobate men walking around in the state of California. So any of those 5 million reprobate men will feel a click with you, and the whole thing starts all over again. Then you'll spend the rest of your life going from man to man, always encountering men that do you dirty. There's a click that happens between you and them because you are polluted in energy fields, and they are polluted. Now, you're not evil, nor are you bad, but that pollution in your energy field is sufficient for your energy field to click with the energy field of someone that's evil. So you're not evil yourself. You're not bad yourself, but someone that's bad will click with you because you're also in pollution, just like they are. That's why renewing the mind is important. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Or as it say in Freemasonry, as within, so without. That's how it is. As within, so without. By the way, I'm not endorsing Freemasonry. I'm just pointing out that even Freemasons understand this. And they're not even believers. At least most of them are not. So, society can't fake stability because it's not there. Society only offers gadgets to distract you from instability that's around. For example, how much salt does a can of Coca-Cola have? If you purchase a can of Coca-Cola and drink it, how much percentage of that Coca-Cola drink is salt? What do you think? How much percentage of a Coca-Cola drink is salt? How much? You just take a guess. I'll wait for your answer in the live chat. What's the percentage of salt in a Coca-Cola drink in general? Yes, Hussein, absolutely, 20%. Now, sometimes it's a bit less, but around 20%. So when you drink, um, if you have Coca-Cola Light, it will be like around 5, or it will be a bit less, around 20%. Now, in modern day Coca-Cola drinks, it's less because they had to change the recipe. But in general, when you drink a Coca-Cola drink, it's the same as drinking a whole pizza. That's how much salt there is in it. But why don't you even notice the salt in the Coca-Cola? Because they cover it up with sugar. There are like 6 cups of sugar in Coca-Cola and around 1 cup of salt. Because of the 6 cups of sugar, you don't even notice the 1 cup of salt. So that's why if you drink a Coca-Cola at a fast food restaurant, you end up ordering more food because you get more thirsty. So drinking Coca-Cola will make you more thirsty than ever because there's a lot of salt in it, but you don't notice the salt in your mouth because the sugar covers the salt. Well, that's how society is. The gadgets you get from society, whether it's a high salary or some holidays or some entertainment on TV or from Hollywood or some religious festivals, whatever it is, what society offers you is just they give you an overwhelming amount of distraction, so you won't notice the instability that you're dealing with on a daily basis. So you won't notice the blood sacrifice you participate in, unbeknownst to yourself. By the way, if you need to go into therapy to process something, just go into therapy. There's nothing shameful about it. Nobody can heal on their own. That's not humanly possible. You walk by faith and you connect with fellow believers, and you will process it by undergoing therapy and processing whatever happened. That's what it is. Where you go in therapy with an actual therapist or you with fellowship with other believers, that's on you. What's best for you? What you see what's best for you, but just go into therapy for real. You can't pray it away. And this is something the church taught us. You can pray everything away. No, you can't pray everything away. Some things you need to receive counseling. If you keep overthinking something bad, you need counseling. You need counseling when you overthink stuff. Look, if you overthink something good, that's different. If you overthink trauma, that means you're stuck. Look, ignoring the trauma is equally destructive. When you overthink it, you at least realize something's off. Whether you are ignoring it or you're overthinking it, in both cases, you need counseling. And this is something that church did. This is a trap of church. Church tells you just come to church every Sunday and praise it away. Just pray and praise it away. That's not how it works. Some things you need counseling. Sometimes you also need to remove yourself from certain people. Sometimes you need to process things. Sometimes you need to complete the grieving and mourning process. Because often the thing with trauma is that it's the grieving that you're stuck in the grieving process. That's really what's going on. So the grieving process has to be completed. When you're stuck in the grieving process, you need counseling to process that being stuck. Just going to church every Sunday won't do it. Just watching YouTube videos online and listen to motivational speech won't do it. You need to undergo counseling. Because if you don't undergo counseling, whether it's with fellow believers, whether it's with a psychologist, or whether it's with friends and family, because in the past, in the far past, people didn't go to psychologists, they just went to friends and family, they were there for them. And anyway, you need fellowship to process things. Now, when you go for therapy to a psychologist who's an unbeliever, you're not fellowshipping with that psychologist. No. What I'm saying is fellowship contributes to processing things. Look, if you have a stab wound, you can't just put a Band-Aid on it and it's over. The Band-Aid may stop the bleeding, but the bleeding, the internal bleeding, will also kill you. If you've been stabbed, you need to stop the bleeding with some Band-Aid, and then you go to the hospital to undergo surgery. Just putting a Band-Aid on a stab wound is going to keep the wound open, you're going to bleed internally, and you're going to die anyway. Or even if you don't die, you have lifelong complications as a result. Too often, we just put a Band-Aid on our trauma. Instead of undergoing counseling, which is the emotional surgery needed to be freed from something. Look, once the trauma is processed out of you, and this may take a little while, depending how deep and how big the trauma is, once this is processed out of you, evildoers and bad people won't experience a click with you anymore. And because they don't experience a click, they will just look through you. And if you're in the way, they get annoyed by you. That's it. And here's another thing. When witches and warlocks put spells on you, or they conduct hexes against you, or put curses on you, those curses, those hexes and spells need some click with your life. If there's no immediate click, the spell, hex, or curse will not work. You know that? So let's say someone puts a poverty spell on you, but you have an abundance mindset. Well, the poverty spell will crash. It won't work. It doesn't matter how much blood sacrifice they do. If you have an abundance mindset, and you're surrounded by people that also have abundance mindset, no poverty spell can work on you. But let's say now that you are on good terms with your mother, okay? And your mother has a scarcity mindset. She has a poverty mindset, but you don't. If someone wants to put a poverty spell on you, the poverty spell cannot work on you because you have an abundance mindset. However, the demons who are delivering the spell realize, okay, we can't deliver this to the target, but hey, the target is connected with his mother who has a poverty mindset, and from time to time they're in contact with one another, so we have to use the mother as a portal to hinder this man. So you have the witches and warlocks, or sometimes not even witches and warlocks, sometimes it's the psychic anger of the public that's sent towards you. And the demons now who go with the flow realize, okay, this psychic anger or this spell will crash because individual, there's no click with the individual. They send poverty and sickness with the individual, but this individual has an abundance mindset. Oh, so we need to make sure there's some portal connected to this man that we can use, or this woman that we can use against him or her. So that's why anytime you're moving ahead in life, anytime you're having breakthroughs, you have those people popping up, or you have those time bombs popping up around you. You may have experienced this yourself. Things are working out in your life. You're moving forward, you're booking progress. And out of the blue, you have those time bombs appearing in your life, people with issues that are about to escalate. And you think to yourself, why do I keep encountering this type of people around me? One moment, please, one moment. I'm back. Someone rang the bell to pick up a package because the mail deliverer delivered it to me for the neighbor, but okay. So what I was saying is that when you within are in abundance and people around you suggest lack onto you, their suggestion will fail miserably. So that's why when you are succeeding, you will have those people that will notice this dominance coming from you, and they will seek to shut down this dominant impact of yours. When you have an abundance mindset, you are breaking through in life. And when you're breaking through, the people around you or the people that used to have a negative click with you, they'll experience a backlash. Anyone that had a negative click with you will experience a backlash once you break through. Anytime you break through, because every breakthrough happens on the inside before it happens on the outside. Every time you're breaking through, everyone that had a negative click with you will experience a backlash. And this backlash will be a shock that affects them in daily life. That's why when you are breaking through in life, you will either have those people from your past just popping up, and while they pop up, you feel like they have a lot of issues, or you'll have people that you never knew just popping up again, just popping up around you, asking for help. But those people are not really interested in help, they just want relief. Some people will try to get involved with you just to hinder your impact. That's why it happens, because once you have an abundance mindset, once you're breaking through, because remember, the breakthrough happens on the inside before it happens in your circumstances. Once you're breaking through, they can't click with you anymore. There's no click that happens. That click needs to be there to successfully take your life away. Look, I'm not saying that if you are delivered, they can't plot against you, or they can't form webs against you, but they can't prosper. That's it. Now, unbelievers don't have the protection from the Holy Spirit. So unbelievers can hinder negativity from affecting them by getting charms and through positive thinking. But that's just on the short term. We, as believers, we are with Christ and we walk fully in power. So it's important to undergo counseling and to go to the root of the issue so you can process what goes on. Look, after you cross the Jordan, you can still be afflicted, okay? But because you cross the Jordan, the affliction cannot actually kill you, it can only hinder you. So undergoing counseling is something you do regularly, not only once in a while, but regularly. So now you know how important counseling is. Now, not every counselor is good, because some are worldly, some are stuck in theories. The best thing is to receive counseling from fellow believers, especially fellow believers who have experience in therapy. So that's why fellowship with fellow believers is quite important. You don't pray everything away. Christ said that a lot of issues in life will only be cast out through fasting and prayer. Fasting and prayer should be a lifestyle into processing things and shutting down demonic access points. But it's continual fasting and prayer. And this fasting also includes counseling or therapy. Now, the world offers therapy to cope with things, but you also have therapy to process things. You just have to have the right type of therapy. So, the band-aid should only be to de-escalate, okay? You use band-aid to de-escalate a wound, but you have to undergo the surgery in order for the wound to be closed. In church, you only get the band-aid just to keep yourself from dying, but you're still in a wounded state that you can be taken advantage of. Church never goes to the root of anything. Sometimes church will even blame you for what happened to you. That's how far some churches go. So, did you all here understand what I've explained in this live stream? Let me know in the live chat, please. Let me know. All right. One individual understands. What about the rest? I'll wait for your answers. So, I'm not saying that everything you encounter in life is because of you. Look, you're not the only human being on the earth. If you're the only human being on the earth, then indeed everything is on you. But you're not the only human being on the earth. If you are at work and all your colleagues have toxic issues, then of course you will face difficulties in your life because you're around people that have toxic issues. Does that mean it's you? No, it's not you, but you're still affected by it. So you need to find a way to either get away from those people or you need to find a way to overrule them when you're around them. Not everything is you, okay? If it's not you, it's not you. But it's still your responsibility to deal with it, even though it's not you. You have to deal with it in a proper way. Look, if the cause is not you, then it's not you. But you need to know what the cause is and you need to do something about it in a constructive way. If the cause, maybe you're often tired or you have chronic fatigue, and you don't know why you have chronic fatigue, then um, one day you're fasting and praying, and suddenly your dad calls, your father calls you. Now, you're on good terms with your father, but then the spirit tells you, don't pick up. You're about to pick up, the spirit tells you again, don't pick up. You think, okay, you don't pick it up. From that point on, you begin to avoid phone calls from your father. And before you know it, you're not that tired anymore. You're not tired anymore. You're like, whoa, how come I'm not tired anymore? And then one day your phone rings and you feel tired when your phone rings. Think, well, how come my phone's ringing and I feel tired suddenly? Then you see, oh, it's your dad calling you. And then you don't pick up. And this time you pick up, and just 1 minute into the phone conversation, you already feel like your intestines are hurting. You already feel like your stomach is in pain. You hang up. Now what's going on? Your dad is a portal used by demons to keep you in lack by your father triggering unknown trauma to you over and over again. Demons are using your dad to keep you stuck. And now that you limited contact with your father, suddenly you realize you're not that tired anymore. So what's going on? Was it you? No, it wasn't you. It was someone else being used against you. But now you realize, so me being involved with this individual worked out bad for me. Why did I notice that? Because somewhere you lack knowledge. Okay, so now I know that you lack knowledge in some area. Okay, so this lack of knowledge hindered you from seeing what was going on. So now you know what? I need to gain more knowledge so that I don't fall for this again. And once you gain more knowledge, you've dealt with the root. Because you can go into therapy to deal with being tired often. You can even get pills from your doctor to swallow. But that will complicate the problem even more. Because now the therapy is masking the real issue and the pills are adding issues for your physical body. The root was you lacked knowledge, and demons use this lack of knowledge to keep you behind. And how did they do it? By triggering the lack that was inside of you, by using this individual. So yes, in this case, you are not a bad individual. You just lacked proper knowledge. That's not your fault. Okay, so don't blame yourself. So it's not you. You're not to blame. It's not you. However, demons are using the lack inside of you to hinder you, and they use other people. So it's the other individual that had demons that were triggering you. It wasn't you. So what did you do about it? You move away from that individual, so the demons can't use them anymore against you, and you deal with the lack that was inside of you. That's how we do it as believers. Even when the other is to blame, we don't care how much the other is to blame. We care about us being better off. I don't care how much to blame the other individual or other people are. You have the ability to be better by choosing better. So choose better. That's what we do as believers. Focusing on the blame of others, even though they are to blame, will not benefit you. It will only keep you in a negative cycle. It doesn't matter how blameworthy, how evil they were towards you. That's them. They are the embarrassment, not you. By focusing on how much of embarrassment they are, you keep yourself stuck. Now, this does not mean that you don't address it. You have to address it. For example, I made various live streams discussing reprobates because we need to discuss reprobates because we have a lot of them around us. So me addressing reprobates does not mean I'm stuck and I'm obsessed about them. No, it simply means I need to address them. I made live streams about demons. Does that mean I have an obsession with demons? No, it's simply because I'm not talking about demons all the time. I need to address it. There's a difference between addressing it and overthinking it. Addressing something is different from overthinking. Most people don't know the difference between overthinking and addressing. Overthinking is when you're stuck emotionally about something. Addressing is when you discuss it in a scientific way for people to learn from it. The root cause of self-blame is you relying on yourself, thinking that you need to do everything for your life, and that's not possible. So give up this idea that you need to take care of your life by yourself. It's not possible at all. So indeed, just like Les said in the live chat, trauma tends to reappear when you least expect it. And indeed, no man is an island. So you have to connect with other people. You do. You're a human being. You're a social creature. Okay? But beware with who you connect to. Now, some unbelievers can be used to help you. You can have an unbeliever who's a therapist that can help you ahead. Only when it comes to helping you ahead. For the rest, you cannot remain involved with that individual. So even unbelievers can be beneficial to you on the short term. So sometimes you have to receive the assistance from unbelievers if they're sent by the Heavenly Father. If they're sent by Him. I said if. So don't focus too much on the external world around you. Now, the external world is relevant because you're in that external world. Okay? If there are people around you who are creeps, then you avoid them physically. So you have to pay attention to your external circumstances, but don't be obsessed and distracted by your external circumstances. Make sure that within you're freed. If you're delivered from within, if you're cleansed from within, if you're abundant within, that's what matters. That's the most important one. That's why the Old Testament, the book of Proverbs, tells us, guard your heart, because out of there flows the issues of life. Just like your physical heart in your physical body pumps the blood around and keeps the blood circulating, because without the blood, your physical body will die. The same way, the same way your soul is, the same way your subconscious mind is. I mean, soul is both your conscious and subconscious mind together, but your your subconscious mind, which is what the Bible refers to as your heart, your emotional center, that's where the reflection happens. See it like this. As a spirit being, how you are on the inside, mentally and emotionally, will echo on the outside. And your subconscious is the vehicle, is the motor, is the vehicle, I mean, that pumps the reflection towards the outside. That's how you see it. Just like your physical heart and your physical body pumps the blood around, keeps the blood in circulation, the same way your subconscious mind is the vehicle that pumps the quality of your energy field into your energy field. That's why it guards your heart. And how do you guard your heart? By renewing your mind and operating in an abundance mindset. That's how you guard your heart. Once you have this abundance filter in your mind, you will filter out everything that comes to you in a mindset of abundance. If you have a mindset of lack, then you can easily be tricked and easily be harmed. But if you have a mindset of abundance, it's very hard to even hinder you. So guard your heart. Guard it. So that was the class for now. If you have to leave now, you can leave. If there are any questions about this topic, please ask in the live chat. I'll just be here to answer them. The rest can leave if they need to or if they want to, because class is over. Thanks for being here. All right, I didn't get any questions. Okay, I'll just wait for a half minute more. And for those that haven't joined the Telegram group, if you want, you can join the Telegram group if you have Telegram as an app on your mobile phone. Or you can join the Google Photos album. The group is also there still. All right. Thank you all for being here. Keep on agreeing with Christ, and I'll see you next time. Be at peace.